Doolin feared that Xiaoji would get hit by a motorcycle. Acting on impulse, she rushed forward and pushed her out of the way. Their feet got tangled in the chaos, and they instantly ended up in an intimate wall-pin pose. Their faces were abruptly brought very close, throwing Xiaoji's heart completely into turmoil. Back home lying in bed, Xiaoji kept replaying the moment they drew near. She tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. In contrast, the oblivious Doolin could only think about the Outstanding Employee Award. Her biggest wish was to win the award and go work abroad alongside Li Kan. That night, she had a dream where Xiaoji ended up winning the award instead. Xiaoji was going overseas with Li Kan, living happily together. Furious in her dream, Doolin shouted that Xiaoji had voted for herself. The two got into an argument, and Doolin ended up getting fired. She jolted awake in terror. Outside the window, lightning flashed and thunder boomed amid fierce gales. Doolin suddenly thought about the T-stage set up during the day. If the brand-supplied outfits got ruined by heavy rain, the consequences would be disastrous. Xiaoji had the same thought and headed for the site overnight. Upon arrival, she found someone had already covered the clothes. It was Doolin, rushing around in the pouring rain. Xiaoji felt both moved and worried, scolding her for recklessly coming out alone and putting herself in danger. As they worked together to tidy up, a display board started wobbling dangerously. Both dashed forward to hold it steady, forced to prop it up together while waiting for the assistant with backup staff. Xiaoji reminded Doolin once more never to act so recklessly again, stressing personal safety came first no matter what. Beneath the heavy rain, Doolin broke into a bright grin. She said optimistically that the wind was dying down and the rain would stop soon, they just needed to hold on a little longer. Watching Doolin's radiant smile, Xiaoji fell for her completely. Normally stern-faced, she found herself smiling involuntarily, overwhelmed by sweet happiness in that moment. Soon the assistant arrived with workers to clean up the site. Meanwhile, Company S deliberately spread rumors that Apollo's fashion show had been cancelled. Several partner brands rushed over to check. Seeing the devastated venue, they turned around and signed contracts with Company S instead. The assistant suspected news of the damaged T-stage had been leaked to Company S in advance, and Doolin became the prime suspect. Xiaoji, however, believed Doolin would not have braved the downpour to protect the costumes if she were a spy. She decided to keep observing her. To avoid letting down loyal partner brands and prevent Company S from seizing the market, Xiaoji resolved to build a T-stage inside the company and host an online fashion show. All departments sprang into action. Li Kan also came to help and offered plenty of professional suggestions for the show. Doolin watched Li Kan work earnestly, the corners of her mouth lifting unconsciously. Years ago, when Li Kan announced he would enter the fashion industry, she had dreamed of working alongside her idol. Now her dream had come true, and genuine happiness washed over her. Then she caught sight of her disheveled appearance in the mirror and felt frustrated at showing up before Li Kan looking such a mess. Just then, her mother called, saying she had dropped off a bento for her. Panic washed over Doolin. Afraid of being scolded, she had never told her mother she had quit Company S for Apollo. To keep her lie from being exposed, she hurried by taxi to Company S and intercepted her mother at the gate. She finally managed to send her mother away. Holding the bento, Doolin tried to hail a taxi back to the office. A manager from Company S stole the cab she had called and stuffed rubbish into her arms, ordering her to throw it away. This scene was witnessed by Xiaoji's assistant, who immediately took photos and sent them to Xiaoji. The assistant suspected Doolin had come specifically to meet director Jean and that the two shared some hidden secret. Seeing the photos, Xiaoji burned with anger over what she believed was deception. Once Doolin returned to the office, Xiaoji immediately demanded to know where she had been. Terrified her mother's bento would be discovered, Doolin hid it behind her back and only said she had gone out to meet a friend during lunch break. The more she evaded the question, the more convinced Xiaoji became that she was lying. Xiaoji gave her a harsh dressing down. Even leaving the office during lunch break should be reported. Don't treat work lightly. Eventually, she even revoked the fashion show participation eligibility of 3 new hires, including Doolin. Unwilling to accept this, Doolin begged to at least let them help until the end. She wanted to witness the fashion show come to a successful close with her own eyes. The 3 new recruits had to go back to their original departments and be sidelined, yet they kept worrying about the fashion show. A male colleague worried that online promotion was insufficient and hardly anyone would see the event. A female colleague feared the online show would end up failing quietly without making any noise. Doolin, who had stayed silent all along, suddenly came up with an idea. Drawing on skills honed over years of being a fan, she created a snappy, eye-catching promotional video featuring costume changes and rap performances. Manager Jean from the marketing department was impressed the moment he saw it. He immediately showed it to Xiaoji and requested permission to post it on the official account. Xiaoji took the chance to ask whether Doolin had accessed any key fashion show confidential information. Manager Jean replied that as a new recruit, Doolin had never been assigned core work. Xiaoji then informed Manager Jean that Doolin had previously worked at Company S. To her surprise, Manager Jean showed no shock. Doolin had mentioned this on her very first day of employment. She omitted it from her resume only because she had spent merely 2 months at Company S and thought such a short tenure would reflect poorly on her. Manager Jean also told Xiaoji that Doolin had kept her resignation hidden from her family. Her mother had gone to Company S to deliver a bento that day, which was why Doolin had rushed over to stop her. Hearing this, Xiaoji realized she had misunderstood Doolin from start to finish. After work, she ran into Doolin and offered a quiet, guilt-ridden apology, but Doolin was wearing headphones and heard nothing. Too nervous to repeat the apology, Xiaoji beat around the bush and asked where Doolin had worked before joining Apollo. Completely off guard, Doolin spilled everything, her short-lived stint at Company S and the embarrassing incident of rushing to intercept her mother with the bento. Learning the full truth firsthand, Xiaoji felt even more remorseful, regretting that she had judged Doolin solely based on suspicion. When Doolin woke up the next morning, she found her promotional video had blown up online with over 8 million views. Countless netizens praised Apollo's unique style and looked forward to the online fashion show. Through everyone's joint efforts, the online fashion show wrapped up successfully, drawing roughly 80,000 live viewers. The event was a huge hit. Xiaoji knew she still owed Doolin a proper formal apology and told her to set aside some time the next day, as she had something to say. Back home, she asked friends and even a robot for advice on apologizing, growing dizzy from all the conflicting suggestions. The next day she cornered Doolin in the pantry. After a long nervous pause, she blurted out something totally irrelevant. By the time Doolin left the pantry, the apology stuck in her throat had never made it out. Once her work was done, Doolin stood gawking at Lee Kin's billboard. Lee Kin happened to show up and complained that he had been waiting for her call, yet she had never reached out. Doolin did not tell him she had actually called before, only to have a woman pick up. She just smiled and played dumb. Lee Kin grabbed her phone and manually saved his number. He then asked curiously how she had become his fan. Doolin recalled the painful days when she had been ostracized by classmates. Back then, Lee Kin's songs had cheered her up and helped her make like-minded friends. During her gloomy school years, Lee Kin had been a beam of light shining into her life. After hearing her story, Lee Kin gently patted Doolin's head. He did not tell her there was another romantic bond between them of which she had no knowledge. This intimate scene was witnessed by Xiaoji, who had been searching for Doolin. Doolin caught sight of Xiaoji's fleeting figure and got a fright. She begged Lee Kin to keep her fangirl identity a secret no matter what. Lee Kin seized the moment to set a condition: he would keep quiet only if Doolin granted him one wish.